castle going, not with Mickey this afternoon, I'm afraid, with Shakeel Rabbaney, who is one of the old world's go-to designers for houses, city gardens, and clothes. He does everything. And he has been down here for the last few days doing various stuff for me, such as covering the state dining room chairs so that they will match the porcelain which I had upstairs in storage and finally decided to bring down. And he's also been covering some other chairs which we will get to a little later, but he did most of the curtains and much of the upholstery in the castle when it was being done up. You were here for 6 months, weren't you?
Yeah, about 6 months.
Yeah. Well, did you enjoy it?
Absolutely loved it. I wish you'd buy another castle and I do all the curtains there as well.
Now, Shakeel, I hope that if you become too famous, because you see, Shakeel is one of those wonderful designers that is only known to the elite, and I'm rather hoping that he's never going to be known to the more general population, and by that I mean the billionaires. I mean, he does do many multimillionaires and 1 or 2 billionaires, but he's not on the map, so to speak, thank God. Otherwise his prices would be stratospheric along the line of Kelly Hoppen, but Shakeel has much better taste than Kelly Hoppen, by the way. But having said that, if ever you become stratospherically famous, I hope you're going to keep your prices the same for me.
Your prices will always be French prices.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. And on that note, I will say we will plunge right in, and I'm not going to do much talking. I'm going to do questioning and let Shakeel do explaining as to what he did, what happened, what didn't happen, because I think it's really interesting or hopefully will be interesting for some people as to how a really good designer goes about things. Having said all of that, Shakeel will be the first to admit that I have very decided ideas, and you keep on saying that I, of all of your clients, are the definite one who knows exactly what she wants and is never wrong. Is that not correct?
Yeah, I must admit that you have given me ideas which I thought it may not work, but after finishing it, I think you know what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you, darling. Thank you. Now, I hate to boost myself, however, you know, but Shakeel is great because he has wonderful taste, and if people need guidance, he guides them. I need no guidance.
You just need a pair of hands.
Exactly. I need an implementer, and you are a great implementer and a great facilitator. So Shakeel, would you like to tell us how you came to live in England and how long you've been here and where you're from?
Let's start from where I'm from. I'm from Pakistan, a city, Karachi, and I came here about 33 years ago, I think. 34 years now, in 1987. Mm-hmm. And I came here as a student. I studied business management. No, I studied fashion first and then business management. And the
Where
rest...
did you study fashion?
It was a private college. It was called London Academy of Fashion in Bayswater. Mm-hmm. And learned everything from there. Well, the basics, I would say.
Yeah. So you you got the basics, and then how did you get into fashion?
I was studying and I was working part-time, and then I met few people, people like Nikki Armstrong, through John. And then
How did you meet John?
I used to work, yes, I was a barman in a cocktail bar in central London. And that's where I met John, and John was just talking about certain things he needed done in his apartment. I think the first thing he asked me was he had problem with his pelmet curtain, and he asked me to sort it out because Vivienne Westwood was coming for dinner at that time. He was a great friend of Vivienne.
People might not know, John and Nikki lived together.
Yes. So I did that, and then he asked me to make some shirts, and then he introduced me to Alan Sibright. You know Alan Sibright?
No, well, I know Alan Sibright. I think a lot of people might not know who Alan Sibright was. Alan, regrettably, is dead now for a few years. But Alan was a leading social figure in London society, as well as a renowned opera impresario.
Yes.
He and Denny Davis used to put on opera occasions which were, I don't want to use the technical terms because people might not know what I'm speaking about. So, for instance, they put on, without the costumes, Turandot. They produced Turandot at a time that Turandot was never produced in the West at all. They were very, very famous, and I met Alan. That's actually how we became great friends.
Yes.
Because I didn't know you knew Nikki, but when you told me that you knew Alan, that's what made me embrace you.
How do you start meeting new people? You have to drop your name, so I did. That's the best way, and then the rest is history. I worked for Georgie in her palace.
Castle, darling.
All right,
it's not
okay.
a palace. It's just it's a humble little castle.
So yeah, I did drop few names, and certain names you were not very happy about. Let's not mention those names, large, big names. So I started working for.
Oh yes, of course. Yes, I forgot that you have worked for people who I cannot abide. I forgot that. Oh yes. We're going to draw a veil over all of that.
Yes,
however,
let's do that.
Because I absolutely refuse to give them the oxygen of attention. Sorry, go on.
So meeting amazing people, and I couldn't imagine that I would have been here if I did not meet Nikki, John, Alan, because they went out of their way to introduce me to people. And I've done amazing jobs, worked for BBC on an amazing program called Great Composers. So I made costumes for the TV production, and Julia McGuinness was performing. So, I mean, to me, I'm
What were the composers?
The one I worked with was Puccini. So
Oh.
Turandot, I made an outfit for Turandot.
Oh.
I don't know much about opera, so I kind of learned. I know the names now. Turandot, Madame Butterfly, and Tosca.
Yes.
So the outfit I made for that program are still in a museum called Sitwell House. There is a small design museum in Sitwell House.
Where is it located for those who don't know?
I don't know.
You naughty boy!
Sitwell is a big name, so
Yes,
just
of course,
Google.
the Sitwells are a huge name.
Georgie, I'll Google later and let you
We'll
know.
cut this out. It's
Okay. No, it's lovely.
You want to keep it in?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
then,
nothing wrong.
Okay, then we'll keep it in.
Yeah. I'm really bad with names, so I'm learning. So I to me, I was helped by people, the right people, generous people, kind people, and they took me as a worker and we became friends, like Georgie. I came here to sort out your curtains.
And we ended up being friends.
Yeah.
Yes, isn't it wonderful?
6 years?
You know? Yes, it is. It is, yeah. And he's one of my dearest friends, I've got to tell you. I just love him. I do.
So much so that she's wearing my outfit today. The one.
Yeah. Oh, yes, you gave this to me for my birthday, didn't you?
Yeah.
About 2 or 3 years ago, as I was approaching 40. You said a lady, as she approaches 40, needs to start to cover up.
Was it 40 or 39th one?
No, I think it was my 40th birthday.
Okay, right. So my memory's bad.
Now, you are a lovely guy, and also he's very capable, and that I have to tell you is a huge difference. When he's working, he works. No nonsense. He absolutely gives value for money, which everybody likes, you know, and he's completely honourable. He doesn't try to shave things, cut corners, nothing, which is rarely commendable, because so many people, you know, once they settle into a situation, think, oh, now I can start to take advantage. And it's wonderful that you never do take advantage.
Thank you.
But you have some very interesting observations about the claims that Meghan Markle made in her interview, and that the claims she has made against the British people, against the palace, against the royal family, against the elite, and not only the ordinary Brits, but the elite. Now, since you know all spheres, what's your input?
I really don't know her experiences, but how she was brought up, what she experienced. But to come on TV on an interview and paint the society as a racist, I found that really sad, because I personally think we all have experiences, but, you know, small experiences. You may suffer that kind of prejudice, but does it mean the whole society is like that? No. I haven't experienced that. I thought it's a very fair society. You work hard, you get somewhere. And
you behave honourably, and don't
absolutely.
try to chisel, and don't try to exploit a situation. People view you as somebody of honour and treat you accordingly.
Yeah, when I was first introduced to the right circle, obviously I had to show the best side of me. That's where people who were interested in me made friends with me. And, you know, I did not demand any respect. I earned it.
And that's the thing. You have to earn respect in life.
Yeah.
If you are not worthy of respect, ultimately you're not going to get it. And all the posturing doesn't alter the fact that if you are a sowser, no matter how much you pretend you're a silk purse, everybody knows you're a sowser. To end on a controversial note, you've not really experienced racism in this country in any significant way, have you? On the contrary, you have been embraced.
That's true.
At the absolutely highest level.
Yeah.
As well as at an ordinary level. Is that not a fair assessment?
Absolutely. I check this when I walk on the street. Do people see me as a different person? I don't see that. When I go to a supermarket, do people see me as a different person? I don't think so. Mm-hmm. Even in parties, I've been, in really grand parties, do people look at me as an outsider? I don't think so. People see me as a nice person or a not nice person, talented person or not talented person, a bugger or not a bugger. That's it.
Well, exactly. And, this is why I wanted you to speak about this, because you have an authentic experience going back 33 or 34 years.
That's true.
And there we have this uppity, overprivileged, chippy, arriviste, splashing in on the scene, demanding that everybody give her due reverence, and when people say, oh, excuse me, please, no, they're racist. I mean, and the mischief this woman has caused. And, I mean, I think, funnily enough, my worry really was that she would put back race relations by 10 or 20 years. But I think her behaviour and his behaviour, their behaviour has been so bizarre that I have been comforted to see that my fears have not been realised, because people see them for what they are: greedy, needy, opportunistic exploiters who will use and play any card if it's going to help to make them money or get them attention.
As I said earlier, I don't know about her experiences. Obviously, what happens behind closed doors, they know, or the family knows.
Well, I know, because I know from as you know, I know from certain people, so I know exactly what has gone down.
But there is
and she is as truthful in that regard as she was in stating that she was married 3 days before she was married. Let's put it that way.
But she has missed a great opportunity. I thought when I first saw Queen, sharing her blanket with her, she was well taken by the public, ordinary public. I'm not talking about little articles about in the news, whatever. I was not interested. She was well taken. She could have used this opportunity to bring
harmony.
Yeah, she could have been a great role model for me to say, okay, in royal family there's a person of color there, and so she missed that.
Yeah, she did. She squandered one of the greatest opportunities that any human being has been given to become the most popular and respected individual on earth. Because had she played things differently, had she been a different sort of person, had she been able to embrace the opportunities that were being given to her and serve the greater good, instead of her bank balance and her need and lust for constant attention, she would have ended up being the most respected individual on earth, instead of which she's ended up in most of the world being one of the most despised individuals. Of course, in America, it's a little bit different, because they have a very slick American operation, always churning out things about them, making out that she's a victim. Well, she hasn't been a victim, she has been an idiot, because had she not been the idiot that she was, and had she not been as greedy and mercenary and selfish and opportunistic as she has proven herself to be, you're right, she would have ended up
like Diana.
Beyond Diana, much beyond Diana, much beyond.
She should have taken up all those charities Diana was supporting. I don't know, is she supporting any charity, Miss Maggie?
Yes, of course she is.
Which one is that?
It's called Archewell. It's the one that if you give $1, 95 cents can go into their pockets.
Okay.
Yes. Well, she understands charity starts at home, and she's has it homing in on her personal interests. So yeah, she supports a charity. I think it's called the Meghan Markle charity for women who wish to end up having splendid lives, doing as little as possible, but manipulating situations, and, you know, she never did want to do the humdrum things that the royals do, and even I, in a reduced capacity, do, you know, with our unseen, unsung, unrewarded civic duties, social obligations that everybody who's decent and in a position of privilege does and has always done. She doesn't want to be wasting her time, you know, meeting mayors and cutting ribbons. You know, she wants to be, for the same length of time, rewarded with $1 million or an Oprah interview, you know, with getting several $1 million, because depend on it, there's no doubt in my mind that they have benefited financially from that Oprah interview. So,
but that much I didn't know. Do you think it could be that?
Well, Oprah got 7 million, and I will not go into what I have been told, how, but let's put it this way, they do nothing except for something, you know. They are, in my opinion, the biggest posers that God has put on this earth. Look how wonderful I am. I'm just wonderful. I'm so compassionate. I'm not going to speak to my father. I'm not going to speak to your family. I'm going to destroy every relationship you have with anybody because I'm wonderful and compassionate and loving. And you've got to listen to me. And I'm going to write books about what a wonderful person I am. And I'm going to let the world know how they are supposed to behave. And, I am going to tell everybody what a good father-son relationship is all about. Well, since she managed to destroy her husband's father-son relationship with his father, and she destroyed her father-daughter relationship, I think she's hardly qualified to be teaching anybody lessons except in what to avoid. And on that note, I will say thank you very much, Shakeel. Thank you for taking part in this. Thanks for all the beauty that you bring into my life, figuratively as well as metaphorically and literally. And I hope you have enjoyed this. If you have, please like, subscribe, share, press the notification bell, and keep the questions coming in the comments section. Thanks and goodbye.